cup at a time. Tea time. Yeah, this is tea time. Yeah, making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time. Making a difference. One cup at a time. Tea time. Yeah.
Well, welcome. It's tea time again. That's right. Miss Liz is in the house. And today I have an incredible woman in the house with me. That's right. Her name's Elizabeth too. And you know what happens when we have two Elizabeths? We have a strong tea in the house. So I want to welcome each and every one of you who are tuning in and listening and who will be watching the replay. Please push hashtag replay or put hashtag live because I'm really curious on who's watching and who's listening afterwards. So a little bit into our tea time today, I'm going to do the disclaimer because we do have a topic that might be emotionally stressed to some out there or trauma or trigger some of you out there. So we will be talking about some strong subjects today. It is a strong tea, so prepare yourself. Get your questions ready, your comments ready, and your support. And let's just have a good old strong cup of tea. So the disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time's live shows. I'm Miss Liz. I'm going live on StreamYard.com. And before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard.com permission to use your name so that I can put you onto the screen if you do have a question or comment. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any tea time hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith, however, may bring forth dialogue and opinions that may not represent my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All tea time guests and audience participants are responsible for their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to this discussion. The content brought forward may include discussions of some that may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection, and it is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer of this panelist discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in this show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that the show is not good for you at this time, I respect that, and I will see you in a future show at a later date. Now, I want to just give you a little info on my incredible guest, but I'm going to pop her into the studio because I like to see these people when I'm reading their incredible bio. So I'm going to pop Elizabeth Charity into the studio with me. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
And double E and double Liz is in the house again. And for some reason, 2022 has had a lot of Elizabeths in the house. So maybe that's an alignment coming. So I just want to read a little bit about your bio, Elizabeth, and then we'll get into what you do and all of that good stuff, and just share some information and bring that awareness of your services and your corporation and any other things that you have on the go, books or radio shows or all that good stuff. We're going to have a juicy tea time today. We're going to get really deep and really strong. So get ready to spill the tea. So a little bit on Elizabeth. Elizabeth was born in Richmond, VA. I'm not sure where that is. Vermont? VA. Virginia.
Virginia.
Where she began her ministry to the youths in the 1970s. She now resides in Highland Springs, Virginia. At the facility in which she is opening up for the residential care with a business center on site in which she and other business partners and the faith-based community provide employment, empowerment, and shelter for juvenile offenders, young adult men, released from the juvenile detention center between the ages of 17 and a half to 21 years old. She is a proud mom of two sons and who has master's degrees in public administration, and Dr. Rev. Travis Harris, who have contributed to the family legacy with 6 beautiful and handsome grandchildren: Isaiah Harris, Elijah Harris, Grace Harris, Faith Harris, and Aliyah Harris, and Aliyah.
Aliyah. Mm-hmm.
And Ethan Harris. Both of her sons are example of her work, ethics, and education philosophy. Between the two of them, they graduated from 6 universities and community colleges with degrees. So, Elizabeth, now I want to get into what you do and who you are. I've read your bio, but I really want to get to know who you are.
I am a person and I don't take no for an answer.
I love it. I love it.
So I am very determined. But it said if you fail one time, get up and try again.
Right?
So I guess for the past 50 some years, I've been reaching out to the disadvantaged population, especially with young people. I have taught Sunday school. I have did community services. I have also started my own business. What happened was, Liz, I was working as a count supervisor at
Okay.
American Tobacco. So,
Oh,
yes, once I said American Tobacco, it was something because when I went there, they had a 12 employees in accounts receivables, right?
okay.
So I had a MSA experience that's um, multiple services, Microsoft services account in which the previous company had sent me. They had sent me to Microsoft to learn how to do Microsoft. So had developed the program. And I was thinking that since they had paid so much money to send me for this, so I asked them if I could be a supervisor. This was Ethyl Corporation, right? Ethyl Corporation is big. I mean, they are big time. So I figure if I have that, if I have an MSA and you have spent that much money on me, then make me a supervisor. And they go, oh no, no, Liz, you have to have a degree. I go, what? You have to have I have to have a degree when you already spent the money on me to be in charge of your accounts receivables and to put all of this on the MSA system. They say yes. I go, okay. So I had trained everybody in the office, right? So what happened was one of my smartest persons. I mean, this girl was on time. She knew how to get the work done efficient, and she got a promotion where she went out and got her promotion at American Tobacco. So what happened was when she get to American Tobacco, they let her know they need a supervisor for the MSA accounts receivable department. She said, "Oh, I know just the person, Liz Charity. She's over there. Get in contact with her." She taught me everything I knew, everything I know. She taught me everything, and so sure enough, they called me and set up appointment for me to come in. And when I went in, they said, Liz, we have a lots and lots of students, college students who want this job. They even have their degree, but they have no MSA experience, none whatsoever.
Wow.
And I said, really? Well, let me see what you got here. And when they showed me their little chart, I said, that's my spot. Put me there.
I'll stick right here, right? Just put me in there.
Put me there. That's me.
I like that you brought it up, Liz, that you know that you didn't have that degree, but you were already in that department.
Yes.
You know, that's alarming, you know, because they already believed in you, and like you said, you already believe in me, you've already got me here, you know. So that's kind of frustrating. And I get that a lot too, is you don't have that degree, so you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, who are you to tell me that I can't do it? Give me a
That's right.
chance. And I like that you said that. Give me a chance and put me here, like put me in this spot, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
So where did that journey take you?
Okay, that journey took me to. I actually went in and downsized, and I saved them so much money because they was hiring a lot of people, was doing overtime, and they had 12 employees. By the time I finished, I had downsized to just myself and two other people. So you can, and no overtime. In
Wow.
fact, I was doing so good. I was doing so good that they actually had my two people, my two employees, to go and help out in other departments. And so what I did was I made the job seem so easy, so they figured like they could just bring anybody in. So what they did was they promoted my manager. He got a
Wow.
promotion. He did. He got a promotion. In the meantime, in the meantime, they hire another manager, and she, of course, could come in and she could say, she could bring her own whole group. I said, oh, okay. So what you're saying is you want me to train your supervisor that you have already picked. You want me to train her and for her to take my job.
Yeah, not my cup of tea. I'm going to do all the work for you and then you're going to take me out? No way.
Yeah. So this is what happened. It was so funny because she was a college student. She was a college student. So I try to train her, but she know that as long as I am there, she did not have to do the, she didn't have to do anything,
Wow.
right? And you have to realize the predicament I am in. I'm a single mother raising two sons. So they knew I need that job. So this is what I did, Liz. I'm a person of faith. I believe in God, right?
Yeah.
So I went in the bathroom and I sat on my throne room.
This is going to get juicy. We're spilling tea today.
And I started praying. I said, God, you know the situation. What must I do? And he said, if they are going to have you to train her, then they should at least give you a raise. I said, okay. So you're saying that they should give me a raise? He said, yes, there's a price to come behind it. I go, okay. And then I go, okay, God, wait a minute. I have a house payment going on. I have two sons, and you're telling me that what if they don't give me a raise? He said, then you quit. I go, what? I said, wait a minute. How I know this? You talking to me, God? I'm not so sure this is you.
I think I need another stall.
He said, it's three things that's going to happen. I'm going to tell you the first two. Number one, when you go out there, the most mail that you ever seen is going to come in. They're going to bring in cots and cots of mail. I go, okay. He said, number two, your manager is going to come in and she want to talk to you. I said, okay. So I went back and I started working, and all of a sudden, there come all of this mail. I go, oh my.
They're all going.
I went, oh my gosh. somebody else said it. Oh my gosh, that's the most mail we ever got. We never got that much mail before. I said, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And then, sure enough, my manager come out and she said, Liz, I need to see you. I said, okay. So I go in. She said, I understand that you are not training Becky. I said, Becky don't want me to train her. She said, what you mean? I said, I have tried to train Becky, but Becky does not want me to train her because she know that as long as I'm here, I'm going to get the job done. And right now, I'm working with a accounts receivable and accounts payable. I am filling two positions, and she's getting paid for one.
Wow.
And I said, and they look at me and they said, well, Liz, to be quite honest with you, if you can't train her, then we're going to have to fire you. I said, oh, no, you don't have to fire me. I resign. They go, what? I said, I resign. They looked at me. They couldn't believe it. They knew that I had just moved into a new house. They knew
Wow.
they had just did a big write-up about me in the paper. A single mother working here at American Tobacco, raising two sons in a good neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? In a good neighborhood. It was one of the best neighborhoods in Richmond. It was called Chandler Farms. Okay, and you just don't find a single mother raising two sons, and especially a black woman living in Chandler Farms in the 80s. You just don't find that. So that by itself was a miracle. So after they really didn't expect that. So I said, are you giving me a raise? And they go, no, we're not giving you a raise. I said, give me the paper, I resign. Right, and remember I told you God had told me there was gonna be three signs.
Yep.
Right at the time that I signed that I uh, resigned, the computer blew up.
There's your sign.
I said, well, I guess Becky have to do that.
You'll have to figure it out.
So Liz, what happened was I go home and I praising God all the way home until I get home and then reality sets in. And I go, oh my gosh, God, what am I going to do? I got a house payment due, electric bill due. Oh my gosh, God, what am I going to do? I didn't even have a car. I was driving my sister's car. You know, you see, because I had a bad accident and my car was totaled. So it was like one thing after another. And I was going, what am I supposed to do? And the Lord told me, he said, again, it's like he working threes. He said, your sister could come and she could give you a car. So you can be able to go. He said, I want you to apply for your nonprofit organization, Youth Outreach Services. And I go, what? I don't have any money.
Where are you taking me now? That's how he works, right? He posts us all over. And we're like, what am I doing?
I don't have any money. And you want me to apply for a nonprofit organization, and I need to get a business license. I mean, wait, how am I supposed to do this? And that's when he said, I needed like $35 for the business license, right? So right at that moment, I get a phone call because I had did a TV show earlier and I had paid my video person. And she called me at that moment and she said, Liz, I go, yes. She said, you know the money that you paid me? said, yeah. When I did your video show, I go, yeah. She said, God told me to give it back to you.
Well, look at there, right? And it opened that door.
So he had given me the money to go and get the business license. My sister then came in and she said, you can use the car. I don't have anything else to do. I said, okay, okay, God, that's two out of three. And you know I'm gonna need a lawyer, Lord. He said, just get to the business. Just get to the business. Just get to get your license. Just go and get your business license, okay? So I get in there and I driving along and I get in there and I'm in line. It was a nice long line, and so I said, this person in front of me, I said, "Hi, how you doing?" He said, "Hi, how you doing?" I said, "So what are you here for?" He said, "I'm a lawyer." I said, "What?" He said, "I'm a lawyer."
There's your sign.
That was my
But we have to put our faith into God, right? Because he does put us into those situations where he's just like, believe in me and I will give it to you.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
and a lot of people are scared of that.
yes, yes. So that's exactly how Youth Outreach Services, Youth Corporation Inc. got started. And that was in 1989.
Wow.
1989.
That's a
Isn't that
long
something?
time.
That's a long time. And I've been doing it totally on faith, on mercy, on grace, and following God's instruction. So at that time was when I started. So I started my radio broadcast. Let me tell you how I started my radio broadcast.
Yeah, I'm curious about that one.
In fact, it's like he told me. He said, "I want you to start your radio broadcast on WFTH." And I go, "Huh? Yes, you go and start your radio broadcast." And it was like, because you see, what happened was at the time I was writing, I was receiving my healing from the divorce that I had received, that I was going through with my husband. Um, in other words, all this happened right after I got a divorce from my husband. So I was wondering how in the world I was going to take care of my two sons, and so that's when God like moved on my behalf. I got the raise, by getting a new job. And so what happened was at that time, he said, "I want you to write poetry to me." So at night, what I would do is I would wake up and I would write love poems to God.
Oh, wow.
I wrote love poems to him. And so that's when he said, "I want you to share those love poems on the radio."
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh. And it was called Portrait Time.
Oh,
So so what I did was I called um, channel, I called WFTH radio. And that's when I told them that I want to do Portrait Time. And I said, to be quite honest with you, though, we got to pay for this radio broadcast, right? I said, and I really don't even have the money.
Lord, where are you taking me now? I say that all the time because people are like, "Where's Miss Liz going?" And I'm like, "I'm just following him. Like, he's putting me in this direction. He's telling me to close these doors for a reason because there's other doors to be open." Like, we really need to trust the process, even though if it scares the crap out of us and we don't understand at times. We really just need to go through it all, and just do it. Give it a try. If you don't try, you don't know, right?
Right, right. And sure enough, I had this radio broadcast and he was financing it for me. And it
Brilliant.
was called Portrait Time. And it's where I wrote my love poems to God. And out of that came my first book, and it was called With Christ, the Sun Rose in My Life. Let me tell you how I got that title. Um, right after I had left my husband, I lived with my sister for a little while. And this particular morning, he woke me up. He said, "We got a date together." I go, "Huh?" He said, "We got a date." I go, "Okay." So he had me to go in her yard, and in her yard was these big trees. And he said, "I'm going to show you a sunrise." So sure enough, all of a sudden, I saw the sun come from behind the trees. And then it's like he took that sun and he like threw it in the sky. And then it's like he took it and started bouncing it like a ball. And all I could do was fall down on my knees and give him reverence. I said, "Oh, what an awesome God we serve. Oh my gosh, what an awesome God we serve." And that's when he began to pour those poems into my heart. So he said, go upstairs and I want you to write. And I began to write. And as I wrote those poems, it was like fire. There was no words on there. It was like fire. And he said, "I am making the sun shine in your life." And I go, "Okay." So that's what happened when he started just had me write those love poems to him. And so after I wrote those love poems to him and did my radio broadcast, that's when he then told me, the manager of the radio broadcast of the station, he heard my poems and he said, "Liz, you know what? There is you need to start a TV production." I go, "What?" He said, "I know the person."
This person's going to help you. Trust the Lord. He's got your back.
He said, "I know a person who does television, and he's looking for some. He's looking for
Yeah.
someone to do like a community program." And I said, "Okay." He said, "His name is Paul Adams. Go and tell him that I sent you." So sure enough, I went to Paul Adams and I shared with him what I was doing. He said, "Liz, that fit in exactly what I want to do." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah. It brings in the whole community." So it was called the Environment Showcase. So this is how, Environment Showcase. So what happened was to get this radio broadcast up and going, God had me to go into the worst part of town.
Well, he never sent us to the good place. A lot of people don't. No, it's a lot of work to get to the good place.
He had me go to what you call the projects.
Okay.
Over in the projects, there was this one particular guy and his family that lived there. And it was like God had me to meet him. This particular individual, he was working for the newspaper. But his family, his friends, they all was doing drugs. He was the only one working, and his whole family was doing drugs, right? So what happened was he helped me. He went and got all of the kids from the project to come and be a part of my radio show.
I'm going to give you something better to do. better society, right? And that's how we got that topic, was on how to better the society.
How to build a better society, because I have lived it. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Don't you know that those young people are now, but like Leroy, he's the one that really round up everybody. He is now living over in the best side of town. He came out of the projects, and now he's living in the in one of those gated communities.
He's got it good. He got to the good side, but he worked hard,
He got
right?
to the good side, which shows that it can be done
Yes.
with the right direction, the right teaching, and that's what happened.
Well,
He
giving
is.
that chance, right? Giving
I
that
gave
one
him a
chance.
chance.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And so he's living in the gated side. So I went on from there, and that's when I wrote my first, as I say, my first grant. And again, it was under the instruction of God. So when I wrote my first grant, it was a welfare to work grant to the former Governor George Allen. When I wrote that grant, I submitted to him, and he gave me the money for the start, to keep this program going,
Yeah.
to produce the TV shows, the radio show, and to renovate houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sent me a lot of information, like after we had set up Tea Time, and you had sent me all of the stuff that has happened since the first time we
Yes.
actually talked. And I was just blown away. I was like, wow, really? All of this? So it's like,
All of this.
congratulations. Like, but it's hard
Yes.
work. It's the consistency. It's reaching out and not taking no for an answer. Someone gives you that no, you just push along and you say, you know what? There's a yes out there somewhere. Let me find it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that's what happened. And in the midst of all of this, I meet my second husband, right? And his name was Oliver Charity. That's how I got to be Elizabeth Charity. Was Oliver
I like
Charity.
it.
So this is what happened. I go and meet this man, and I'm just walking down the street, and I'm in front of the building that I actually started operating in. It was the biggest building on the block. It was a $10 million building, and God had me to move in that building with no money down.
There we go again, right? And then you're getting a phone call and it's coming.
It was so funny because see, my husband, well, at the time, I had just, I met him, and and I told him, it was like 9 years after my divorce, right? So I had been doing all of this as a single mom. And so he looked at me, and he said, I said, what? He just said, hi, how you doing? I go, hi, how you doing? He said, my name is Oliver Charity. And I said, I'm Elizabeth Harris at the time.
You weren't a charity yet.
Uh-huh. And it was so funny because he said, he made the comment. I looked at him and I said, you see that building right there? He said, yeah. I said, I'm going to move into that building. And everybody else I told that I was going to move into that building, they looked at me like I was a crazy woman.
But you moved in that building.
Huh?
But you moved in there.
And I moved in there. But this is what he said. He said, oh, yes, you should have did it 10 years ago. And I go, wait a minute. That was when I left my husband 10 years ago. And that's when God had told me that I was going to do this, right? So I was going, oh, really? And he said, and you know what? I had asked God to give me a job so I can be able to help you. I look at him and I go, huh?
What you talking about? Love is strange, right? We just never know.
You never know. He said, in fact, I said, I'm getting ready to go in there. I'm meeting with some more people for the, development of the program. And he said, I'm going with you. He said, and I'm going to get my resume too. So it's like he was not taking the no for an answer either. So
Well,
he
that's a
come
good
on in
thing.
there, huh? So
That's
he
a
come
good
on
thing.
in there with me, and he met with the other people. And in the meantime, let me tell you, he was a good-looking man. So it was the person behind the desk. We went into the Marriott, and the person that was working behind the desk at Marriott, she thought he was so fine too. So she went and had the security guard to go and tell him to come and tell him, said she wanted him to take her to lunch. And he said, "Oh no, I already got lunch with her." With me. And I go,
He already knew what the answer was even before you asked, because God sent him. You just never know how life transforms, right? And,
you
and
never
and that's what I
know.
got from what you do, the work that you do, Elizabeth, is that you really do transform lives, and you really put the faith in these juvenile uh, offenders. And sometimes they're just guided the wrong way, so they need that chance. They need that second chance, right?
Yes, they
So
do.
so your journey with the youth corporation industry, you said it's been running since 1989.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
how many lives have you changed since 1989?
Oh, it been thousands of lives
Thousands.
changed. Thousands. Some of them even contact me now. I mean, through the radio broadcast and the television broadcast. And it's two particular stories that I got to share with you. It was this one individual. This was after I was, oh, I decided to go back to school, right? To
Yeah.
George Mason University because of my son. My two sons, both of my sons, as you say, see, they went back, they went to school. In other words, because of the welfare to work program, my sons didn't have to get on welfare, and they did not end up in prison. In fact, as I say, they went on, they graduate. One has his PhD in African American history from William and Murray University, one of the best schools in the nation. Come on. And he also has master divinity, so he's a minister too. And then he has his bash. Oh, he also have another degree from William and Murray in America history. So he got African American history and America history and a degree in divinity, a master's degree in divinity, and his bachelor degree from University of Virginia. So all of those are the best of schools. You know what I'm saying? From a single mother. Because
You
my
did an
second
awesome job. Awesome job.
my second husband passed away. Um, so it was he passed away from I contracted AIDS from him. He had the AIDS virus. And was I was laying in the hospital on my deathbed. That's the reason why I believe in these miracles. I was
Yeah.
actually on my deathbed, and again, I was up there having the conversation with the Lord. I said, Lord, wait a minute, I don't understand. I done did everything you told me to do. I done did the best I can, Father. And here I'm laying up. My husband, he gone home to glory, and you got me still here.
Yeah. What's your plan now?
Look, he done got the best of the deal, and you still got me here. And that's when the Lord told me, He said, I'm turning AIDS, AIDS, into assistance in deliverance and salvation. I go, what? He said, I'm getting you out of this bed, and you got greater things for me. And I'm going to give you the strength. And he said, and I'm turning back 20 years. At the time, I was 40, and I've been working at this for 20 years. Well, I was really 47. So now I'm 67. I could be 68. No, I could be 69. I could be 69 this year.
You
Oh
can
my
be
God.
any age you want to be, right? Young hearts, we can stay as young as we want to stay.
Yes. So I could be 69 this year. So I have been, I've been working at this for a while, and he's letting me know it's not finished yet. Because this time during the coronavirus, again, I was taken sick, and I thought I had, COVID. And I found out that I didn't have COVID. What I actually had was pneumonia. So again, I was laying there and thinking that, and he said, I was just giving you a little bit of rest, Liz, just to have a recollection
Yeah.
of what you're about to do. I go, huh? He said, because you're turning COVID around too. I go, what? He said, yeah, community, opportunities, investing in life and not death.
He's truly using you as a servant, you know, of how you can make a difference, how you can better society, because you're a living example. You have that resilience to keep going forward and pushing on. And I think a lot of people look at you, Elizabeth, and see that strength in you and say, hey, if she can do this on the faith of God, we can do this too. You know, I get that from you, from your story, from your testimony, from the work that you do and who you help, you know, because you've chosen to work with people who are often thrown to the side and say, you know what, you made a mistake, live with it. You know, you're the one giving them that chance and saying, hey, let me help you. Let me show you it can be done. And that's the
Mhm.
difference that you're making. And you are a strong cup of tea. And your story is a true testimony of faith in the Lord.
Mhm. Getting back to my sons, my two sons. What happened was my oldest son, Antoine. He also had 3 degrees. Uh, he went to Hagerstown Junior College. He went to George Mason University, and he went to Strayer University. So at Strayer, he actually was getting his public administration degree, his master degree in public administration. And that's when he recruited me, his mother, to come back. He said, Mama, you need to get back in school. I go, huh? He said, sit down here and fill out this application.
Just trust me, Mom, you could do this.
And at the time, he was working for the mayor, right? So he had direct connections with the juvenile detention center, because I had been working with them, the juvenile detention center, for about 10 years up in Northern Virginia. And I had had one senator to give me a grant, and I had taken that grant and started the 12 weeks job readiness program in the juvenile detention center. So he talked to the mayor and he said, instead of you sending them to the juvenile detention center, I want you to just put them in my mother's program, because he said I am an example of what can happen. And he actually had 5 individuals who was on the verge of either going to the juvenile detention center or the jail, or going back to college because they had made a stupid mistake. Well, all 5 of them came a part of my thesis.
See, that's what happens.
All five of them became a part of my thesis. And I want you to know that all five of them took my 12-week job readiness program because I actually wrote my own curriculum, transforming the juvenile offender into entrepreneurs.
I like that. I really like that.
All five of them became entrepreneurs. They did not go to jail. They did not go into the juvenile detention center because of my son talked to the people who was in charge and said, put them in my mother's program. And then he went and sit me down and had me to go to Strayer University. And then after I went to Strayer University, I told him, I said, if you can go to George Mason, I can too. He said, no, Mama, I said, watch me.
I'm gonna do this.
I'm going to do this. So he and my grandchildren, they actually went with me to move me in to George Mason University, and I actually live on campus.
Well, look at you go, girl. You experienced the whole experience.
I live on campus. And we developed my students. I had so many students that helped me develop what we call a social entrepreneurship society
Oh,
right there on campus. And those students who helped me develop that social entrepreneurship society are the ones now who want to help me to develop the curriculum to zoom into the jails. So they to do what we say we want to do, transform those juvenile offenders
see, and I think this
into.
is why we align, Elizabeth, because I've been looking to get into the jails as well. I want to actually understand the mindset of the effect of being in prison, the isolation, the connection, and the aftercare of getting out of that isolation, the effects of it. And I think that's where I'm really drawn into the program of youth cooperation industry, is that I really think that you get into that mindset of understanding why they were there, why weren't they heard, did they feel that by doing these actions that they were getting heard and getting seen? Is it a pattern, a family cycle? There's so much to understand, right?
Okay. Let me tell you about one particular young man. I am so proud of him. Well, it's so many of them I'm so proud of, but this one particular one, he was he was 13 years old, and I met him in the juvenile detention center, and he was sharing with me that he liked working with cars and old cars, and he wanted to be a mechanic, and he was just sharing stuff with me. And so, but he was the biggest bully there in he was he had been hurted by his father. His father wasn't there. His uncle had deserted him, and he had his mother. And so what happened was this one particular day, we was talking about leadership. So I look at Guado and I said, Guado, you're a leader. He said, huh? I said, you're a leader. I said, if you take that negative action, your negative energy you have, and turn it to positive, you'll have everybody in here following you.
Yep.
And he looked at me, he go, what, Miss Liz, what are you talking about? And his friend said, for real, yeah, for real, Eduardo, we will, And he was going, wow. So what happened was he was put in a special program, and he told me, he said, Miss Liz, will you go before the judge and speak on my behalf? Will you talk to my mama? Because they was really getting ready to send him into Bon Air, which is a juvenile detention center. It's like a young adult jail, really.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So he said, will you go on my behalf, Miss Liz? I said, yeah, let me talk to your mama. So I talked to the mama and I found out that they had really like framed him because they wanted to keep him in there to get the state money, continue to,
Wow.
continue to get the money. So as I talked to the mother, I said, okay. So what I did was I got in contact with his guardian ad litem, his lawyer. Then I got in contact with his other lawyer. And then I contacted the judge. What had happened was I had one lawyer had referred me to all the judges at the juvenile detention center. So I had got to know them. And so what I did was I wrote a letter to the judge. And about that time, I had we everything looked like was going wrong that day, but we finally got into the jail. I mean, we finally got into the court. And in the I realized then that be- 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 the timing was so that all the information could get to the judge. I did not realize that because the whole time that it was the trial was going on, the Gardner Lighting was sending information.
Wow.
So what happened was the judge was looking at that, and the prosecutor. This is what the prosecuting attorney did up, and she said, "We are going to send him down to Beaumont, and we already know that there's someone here who think he shouldn't be going, but we're gonna prove them wrong." And I went on. I said, "Lord, every lie that they have told on this guy, on Eddie, I want to come back on them 7 times." I said, God, go ahead, do what you have to do. So they started testifying on what was going on in Eddie's life. And the judge was looking at the information that was coming in. And he was looking at that, and he was looking at the prosecuting attorney and the his probation office. And he was like shaking his head. And in the meantime, Ed is sitting there going to his lawyer, saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" Because he's Spanish. He said he's Spanish, and his lawyer was saying, "They're digging their own hole. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good." He said, "You don't have to worry about it. It's all good." And so when they finally wrapped it all up, the judge looked at him and said, y'all disappoint me. He said, "I have referred Eddie to your program because I thought you was going to help him. But from what his gardener Lightning said, and the information that Miss Charity has given me," she said, y'all have not did fair by this young man." And he said, and at that time, that's when his lawyer stood up, and his lawyer said, "Your Honor, we would like to submit Eddie into Miss Charity's program instead of going into Beaumont. Submit him to her program." And he said, "Yes, I believe I will." He said, "Okay, Miss Christian back there, submit." I said, "No, no, no, my name's Miss Charity." He said, "No, like I said, Miss Christian back there." He said, "I want the probation officer and the lawyer. I want you getting in contact with her because I had a program going on, you know.
Yeah.
He said, submit it, and within 6 months, Eddie had received his had got back in school, was an honor roll student, 3.5 grade point average.
Wow.
Yes, he had received his GED. He was getting ready to go to college, and he was starting, and he received the bar award from the
Wow.
county. Uh
Look
huh.
at that. Look at that.
You
Like,
see what I'm saying? His life totally turned around
yep.
because there was somebody who believed in him and saw the good inside of him, and we just worked with him.
Amazing.
And he started his own business.
See, and this is what we need. We need more stories like this out there. We need more awareness out there on the work that you're doing, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
We need to understand that there are incredible organizations and corporations out there that are not being seen because they're being blinded because of other organizations or programs that are out there that are not doing the same impactful work. You know,
Mhm.
they might have the proper funding, they might have, inside scoops. How do you feel that you've been in the business since 1989, right? And to all the
Mhm.
viewers and listeners out there, we are going to go over, because I want to keep Elizabeth in the studio, because I want to really touch down on the youth corporation industry, on
Mhm.
the impact that you've made, because you have made a huge impact with just the numbers that you've given me in the time that we made this tea time, the transformation that you've made, right?
Mhm.
So how do you feel knowing that your organization's been running since 1989, and I myself only found out about it when we got in contact? How does that make you feel?
Um, that I'm doing the work behind the scene, and a lot of people just don't know what's going on. And I
And I like
thank
that
you,
answer.
and I thank you, Miss Liz, for giving me this opportunity to share
No, and I
and
like
let
that
people
answer.
know. Mhm.
Because Elizabeth, this is what people need to understand, is that God's work and servants are not always seen. You don't always
No,
see the work we're doing. You don't always see the impact that we're making, because we're not in the light. you
that's
know
right.
we're behind, and it's okay that we're in the back,
Mhm.
because you
Mhm.
have changed thousands and thousands of lives, you know
Mhm.
and you're not saying, look at me, look at me, look at me. You're saying, let me show you the impact that I'm making. Let me show you the
Mhm.
difference I'm making. And this is why
Mhm.
we need these awareness. And this is what this platform is for, is to bring awareness to incredible organizations like yourself, that
Mhm.
are not being seen. We need to start
Mhm.
paying attention to the back seat, not the front seat, you know?
Yes. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's like you giving a chance to all of these young men. They're in the back seat. They're
Mhm.
not in that front seat where they have the chance. Because everyone's saying, "No,
Mhm.
I'm giving up on them. They've already ruined their lives. They've already done this." Where you're sitting in the back seat and saying, "Hey, judge, listen to me. Put them in my program, and I will promise you and guarantee you that this boy's life will change, and he will
Yes.
do the work, because I believe in him."
Mhm.
It's like you believe in God, you believe in these young men. So it's truly
Yes.
impactful. I want to get
Mhm.
in before we close the tea time and that up. I want to know what your tea is, Liz. So if I give you the
My
word tea, what would your tea be?
T is time of eternity provide awesome results.
Like that. And that's truly
Like
who you are.
mhm.
So did you want to repeat your tea for everyone that's listening?
Time of eternity provides awesome results.
I like that word, awesome. I really like that word, awesome. So
Yeah.
any final words, Liz, that you have for the listeners and viewers out there? What message would you have for them?
I was hoping that they would like to say, join forces with me. And we would like to be able to, we have reached 122 countries. And we would like very much to say, put this program in every state. Wouldn't that be awesome? And we
That'd
can
be
do it through
awesome.
the Zoom. We can do it through the Zoom. Not only will it develop jobs and economic development, but this is a win-win situation. It changed lives. And that's what we want to do. Change lives and provide economic development for your business. Because we have the television advertisement, we have the radio advertisement, we have Zoom, we have another one, the YouTube. That's how we reach the 122 countries. And you are all the way from where?
I'm in Canada.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I like that you brought that up, Liz, because it is a global issue. It
It
is
is.
not just happening in the United States. It's not just happening in Canada. It is global.
It's
There are
global.
young men out there that are not getting the chance. And if you could get this program, if you could get Elizabeth's program into your community, into your country, would you not want to see these boys succeed and better
Yes.
your state and
Give,
better your
give, give them
community?
my email address so they can get in contact with me. And let's move forward. And my number is, of course, 571-314-7503. And my email is elizabeth.charity@yciyos.org. And you have
The
my
website.
website up there. So hey, let's make it happen, y'all. We can make
Let,
this happen.
right? So let's open some doors and let's really truly make a difference and show people that we can make a difference.
Yes,
And the message that I have for all the viewers and listeners out there, start paying attention to the back seat. You just never know who's sitting in that back seat, who makes a difference. And we have her in the house today. So Elizabeth Charity, I really want to thank you for joining me for Tea Time and getting it out there. If anybody would like to know more on Elizabeth Charity, the website is up here. For all the audio listeners that will be listening to the broadcast after it's uploaded, all the information is in the description. So if you go into the description for any of the podcast stations, you will see all the information for Elizabeth Charity, her information on how to contact her and all that. And if you would really like to have this program in your community, your country, please reach out and let's make a difference, because that's what we're here for. We're here to make a difference, bring awareness that we can make changes. And Elizabeth, you really have made a difference, and I understand why we're aligned and why God brought you into my life. I understand the connection now, and this is how
thank
he
you.
works. He brings the guests to me, or the guests I find them. There's a reason that I'm led to you guys. So I want to really thank you, Elizabeth, for everything you've done and all the lives that you have impacted, and continue to do what you're doing. And if anyone would like to know more on Elizabeth, again, check out the website and reach out. Let's make a difference and let's really spill some tea and make a ripple effect of messy tea
And
here.
say we drink our tea together.
We spill only good news, us girls. That's what Elizabeth's do. We're the good
Thank,
news girls.
yes, Liz. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to just share my heart. Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. Anytime. And we will stay connected and we will connect again. And if you
Yeah.
need any help with anything, let me know. For all the listeners and viewers out there, I want to thank you for tuning in. If you are watching the live, please let me know. Put hashtag live. If you have watching the replay, put hashtag replay. And if you would like to see a topic on my platform and you feel that we need that awareness and that educational out there on that topic, please reach out and let me know. My door is open to bring awareness. And I do the messy and the hard topics. So if you think it's too hard, it's never too hard. We only make a difference when we spill and bring good news. I'm going to see you guys all again on April 14th when I have Dr. Kevin Payne in the house. He will be speaking on chronic pain. He lives with MS and he's also a skydiver. So I'm bringing him on so that we can speak about beating our fears and getting outside of our comfort zone. And only 60 seconds we'll take that fear away by jumping out of a plane. So we will see you all April 14th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with a new tea to make a difference. And thank you again, Elizabeth, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you so much. Bye bye.